If you watch my videos, more likely than not, you are a part of the online art community to some degree. So, you're probably way too invested in the internet. Chronically online. We're gonna pretend like the call isn't coming from inside the room. In either way, art kids are a staple of most of our prepubescence era. Digging around Animal Jam, posting our Hamilton x Lawrence fan art on DeviantArt, and doodling away to our heart's content while listening to some random rant channel with a furry persona that's hidden poses like, "Let's pretend like the call isn't coming from inside the room." Does the internet hold that small, quirky space it once did for the art community? Or has it been opened up to a much larger populace, endangering the spaces held for minor and beginner artists? I'm Sabah Black Sheep. Have you any soul? No sir, no sir. But today, we are going to discuss the ramifications of the undoubtable changes the art community has gone through the past few years, and how it's pushing out beginner and minor artist spaces and publicizing them to be taunted. But before we get started, check out the Etsy shop for cool shirt designs, or join our 17+ Discord server to meet a bunch of cool artists. Without further ado, we begin. So many of us are nostalgic about our middle school and high school years of being in the art community. I sure am. I used to post on DeviantArt a lot, and it very rarely got seen by more than 3 to 10 people at most. But it was just fun having somewhere to post my little world I was so lost in. Only comments I'd tend to get were relatively nice, despite the community at the time holding tight to the sentiment of, "Don't post online if you can't handle critique." Just being a poorly veiled disguise of, "Stop getting mad at me when I bully you." Where I find as of now, it is far more common for your work to be seen by many more, and negatively commented on. A quick scroll through TikTok or Instagram, almost all the small artists who are young or beginner have droves of hate in their comments. As back in 2017, you were less likely to get hate as there were just fewer people exposed to your work. This comes with a good side, as it's easier to have your work seen more than ever. However, the cultural shift of harsher judgment becoming more normalized has created a divide between more advanced artists and those who are considered beginner within the online art space.
Why do TikTok users be so mean to beginner artists? I feel like a lot of events on this app has just been more people in comment sections bullying new artists until they quit. I remember back then when people would put beginner artists or someone with a unique art style into an art lore video just to make fun of them. It's stupid, and I think the people who make these videos should get better things to do. Is the expectation for artists now is to be another anim semi-realism artist? Are we going to have to fit ourselves in a box so we aren't bullied off the internet? Is this what we need to do? A lot of people should be more open-minded when looking at art. It's okay to dislike some art and express it. Just don't harass people about it. Okay, that's it. Bye, la la la.
You don't have to be the bad guy. You
consider is most of the people leaving excessively harsh comments are young individuals. I find the largest perpetrator of the reoccurrence of cringe culture tends to be the wave of younger people coming onto the internet, as many teens are easily convinced by strawman arguments to take extreme perspectives in action. As I can admit, as a 11 to 15-year-old, I was convinced the term "if you posted online, you deserve to be criticized" was valid. Now, the irrefutable fact of this argument is you can't control what others do, and due to the expected culture of the online space, it's hard to be shocked when you get a rude comment. Where this concept falls flat is that the one making the argument is acting out the unneeded criticism, thus creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of, there are other bullies, so I can bully too. There are other murders, so I can murder too. It's just a piss-poor excuse for people to live in a delusion of amorality rather than facing the reality of their actions. Their words are often harsh and unneeded. And of course, those who fall victim to this are mostly beginner artists and minors. I am awfully quite thankful I was not young during this era of the internet, as I was a very fiery kid, and my confidence and desire to defend myself would have gotten me in so much more drama and hate. But as an adult, of course I grew out of that and now recognize I, as anyone, am capable of fault. This is another aspect I think people don't talk about enough. The adultification of creators. Creator being anyone who posts online. A 13-year-old artist doesn't owe you humility and grace. They are 13. They're moody and edgy, and they speak brashly and react in extreme ways, as all of us did when we were 13. Expecting a 13-year-old to handle online criticism with grace is utterly preposterous and is tone deaf to the actual issue at hand here. Criticism can be hard to deal with as an adult, so you'd imagine it'd be a million times worse for someone who is a child. What tends to happen is a young artist starts to become notorious for some off-colored thing they did or said, and the hate comments start coming in, and then the DMs, and then the death threats. This will often result in two reactions from the young artist. They get scared and delete everything, or they stick to their guns, double down, and are utterly overwhelmed and unsure how to navigate the situation, thus digging them deeper into a hole. This has happened with a lot of people within the art community over the years. One of the most well-known of those being Birdie. Birdie, nowadays known as Jack, was 12 when he got a lot of attention back in around 2017, 2016 for a plethora of outrageous actions. Drawing an essay comic of an adult Italian animation meme maker's character and his bird OC, joining some Discord cult and standing behind creeps, fighting back against the onslaught of relatively reasonable criticism with reactiveness and a lack of introspection one would expect from a teenager. Mind you, all happening when he was a minor for the most part. I am not talking about anything regarding what's going on with him now, as I don't know everything about the situation with Cinnabear and him, and I can't give you a full accurate statement of his character in his adulthood. I am more so talking about the very negative effects the internet had on him as a kid, and most likely still affect him to this day. Think back when you were 12. Personally, I was in love with Foxy the Pirate and Ben Drown, and thought everyone was jealous because of my epic Naruto headband I'd wear every day at school around my neck. Now, imagine that reckless child version of yourself being relentlessly criticized by thousands of faceless people online. I know I would have been the type to try to fight back and defend myself, only to fall deeper into the drama. I just feel so bad for whatever kid ends up in that boat. This is still an issue to this day. I see people on TikTok trying to cancel children for being pro-shippers. Brother, the only reason I became accepting of gay people and started questioning my own sexuality was because 11-year-old me watched Black Butler and thought Ciel and Sebastian were cute together. You know, the 10-year-old and 6-foot thousands of year old's demon? A clearly pro-ship and unethical thing to think about or enjoy. You want to know why I shipped that? Because I was barely past 10 myself and hitting puberty, and all sorts of hormones going through my body with no full context of the moral complications of a grown-ass man being with a child. The thought of that even being questionable didn't even exist in my mind because I was a child with little understanding of the world. For those who don't know what pro-shipping is, it's someone that is okay shipping like kids and adults or siblings together as like a couple. It is weird and it's strange, and if you're into it, I'm sorry, that's weird. It just is. You should go to therapy. When a kid online says they are a pro-shipper, honestly, ignore it. They will learn once they are older why that isn't okay. Openly speaking out against pro-shipping on your platform, that's fine. Just don't harass kids on their terms over pretty normal kid things. I realize there's an aspect of, let's not normalize it, or it puts the kids in danger. Pro-shipping isn't normalized if large platforms and media don't indulge it. And yes, a kid online openly being into pro-shipping can be very dangerous for them. Just as dangerous as any kid online, honestly. So, get your damn children off the internet, maybe? All this just leads to kids taking on things they don't need to worry about. I've seen 14-year-olds on TikTok admitting to being evil for drawing cheese pizza of minor characters. Okay, that's pretty normal teen behavior to be interested in those subjects with characters that are literally in their age group. I just think parents need to be aware of the kids' online behavior, as I don't think the teen should be posting that online or sharing it outside of their age-appropriate friends. I just feel like so many of us forget what it was like being a teenager, because most of this stuff isn't that crazy. Kids aren't ruined nowadays. We're just being dramatic. What they're doing is pretty normal, and we need to stop publicizing these kids' normal, private, developmental things. Why as we, as adults, who are strangers to these random-ass art kids, are getting involved in any of this? It's only leading to the normalization of an online cult that leaves no room for young creatives to feel anything but shame. No, I'm not ashamed of the weird art and ships I drew when I was like 13. Why? Because I was 13. And I hope everyone who is watching this video doesn't hold on to such guilt. Look, you know yourself. If you have moved past it truly, that's what matters. You aren't a bad person because your underdeveloped monkey brain was freaky. Everyone has that to some degree. Anyway, that's all I have for today, folks. If you like my art, please consider commissioning me. You can reach out to me on Instagram, Discord, and Blue Sky, all linked in the description in the link tree. Regardless, you have work tomorrow, or school, or complaining about the sudden rise in purity culture. But, as always, don't dream about wheat-based byproducts.
Moi, je m'appelle mademoiselle Noire, et qu'on va pour la voix,